What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Elliott Delp, and today we are going to be revisiting a topic. We're going to be talking about firearm myths, so let's get right into it. So like I said before the intro rolled, we are going to be talking about firearm myths. And I made a video probably 2-3 weeks back about top 5 firearm myths, and y'all did great in the comment section. Y'all told me a bunch of stuff, and I have incorporated some of those into this video that I really liked, and I have also kind of sourced my own new myths that I have thought of over the past few weeks that I've kind of been like, wow, that's crazy, and just some other things I've thought about. So we're going to be going over those again, kind of debunking them in a very general sense. I'm not going to get into too big a detail, but they're still pretty interesting. Okay, so let's get right into it. These are in no particular order, by the way. They're just off the top of the head, you know. So let's talk about our first myth. The very first myth is firearms can be bought online, and this could not be further from the truth. I guess more of the myth is they can be just shipped to your door. That'd be a better way. So you can buy firearms online, you just can't have them shipped to your house. I know some of my friends that aren't really up onto the gun thing think that the gun laws are a lot looser than they actually are, and they think you can just go buy firearms and have them shipped to your house, and that doesn't work that way at all. If you are new to the gun community, you can't just have a firearm shipped to your house. You have to enter where you want your firearm shipped, and it has to be an FFL. You send the person you are purchasing the firearm the information, and then they will either reach out to your FFL or you'll reach out to your FFL, and you'll have your FFL send paperwork to who you're buying the firearm from so they can do the transfer, and then once the firearm gets to your FFL, you can go pick it up. That's the only way you can do it. There's no way around it, really. You can't have your gun shipped to you at all. Unless you get your FFL, and then you can have your gun shipped to you. But then you're an FFL, so that defeats the purpose of everything. Okay, so that is the first myth, and I feel like that's a big one. I feel like it's a very big myth. So, that's a good one. Second one, AR-10s. Okay, the only reason I bring this, I've made a few videos on this now, but the myth that AR-10s are standardized. So the other day I went into a local gun store of mine, and I had the owner tell me that AR-10s were standardized, and I don't know why he thought that. He was a little bit older. He was probably in his 70s, which if you're like 70, don't hate on me. But that is a little bit older. And I don't know, somebody mentioned in the comment section maybe he was used to building AR-10s and just hadn't been up to speed on them. I don't know what it was, but he told me AR-10s were standardized because I was asking him for a DPMS, high profile handguard, and he was like, "You're crazy. That's no, they're all the same. Stop being that way." And I argued with him, and I was like, "No, there's different types, you know. There's low profile, there's the armor light stuff," and he just would not have it. And then I pulled it up online, and I still don't think he quite believed me. But they're not standardized. There's a ton of different parts that fit different things on AR-10s. There's different patterns. There's a ton of different stuff that goes into it. So you can't just go willy-nilly buy something without doing a little bit of background research into what you're buying. Okay? So be careful when you're buying AR-10s. That's something you should kind of look out. So the third myth that I have lined up, I heard from Iraq Veteran 88, and I think it was Mr. Gunslinger. They were watching a video, or I was watching their video on top 10 myths, and I actually stole 2 from them because I thought they were pretty good. Now the rest of them were mine, but I am admitting that I stole 2 from these guys. The first one is that low budget optics don't work. And I couldn't be more on board to the fact that low budget optics are great for the most part. So, for example, that optic right there on that Diamondback, that Nikon Buckmaster, pretty decent optic. I had one that I wasn't too fond of, but the second one I have, it's pretty good. It's probably around $120, $130, if I remember correctly. Then you got your Vortex Crossfires. Those are budget optics. They don't push over 200 bucks. They're sitting around the $100 to $150 range. Very good optics. Monstrum Tactical, they have budget optics. They're fairly good optics. Then you have your like Simmons and your Center Points, which can be picked up at Walmart. They're fairly good optics too, and they're on the budget end of things. Now, just like they did, they caveated this, and you get what you pay for. But when you buy a budget optic, you shouldn't be buying it to dial it in and to be able to tune the turrets every time you want to mill something out or something. It doesn't work that way. They're good for being set and never touching them ever again. So, for example, my grandfather has a 270, and he has a Super, I think it's a Tasco optic on it. That the 270 is a 700 Remington, super old rifle. Optics never been changed on it. Okay, he said he paid hardly anything for it, for the optic when he bought it, and it's never had to be changed ever. The thing is spot on. Okay, great shooting scope, great shooting rifle. You don't have to worry about anything. Okay, so that's a pretty hard myth for a lot of people to swallow. I know a lot of people that are just like, you have to buy a $3,000 optic or you're just stupid. And I don't think you need to. I think for the most part you can get by if you're only using it for certain things. Now, you get what you pay for, and you should expect certain things out of these budget optics. But they work, and they shouldn't be overlooked. Okay? So, the fourth thing that I stole from those guys is AK-47s are inaccurate, and I couldn't agree more that this one is a myth. So I have the Norinco AK-47. I think it's Mac 47. Don't quote me on that, but the Norinco I have on the channel. You should go check it out. Awesome AK-47, super fun shooter. And then I have the SKS, the Norinco, and they're both great shooting rifles. The SKS is like one of my favorite things ever. It's what I grew up on. It's what I started hunting with, and with some steel case Wolf ammunition, I can hit a brick at 100 yards all day, every day. I can hit a pop can at 100 yards all day, every day. The thing's lights out. And I'm not that great of a shooter. I'm just your everyday guy. That's not me bragging. That's not anything. That's just me telling you that those are good shooting rifles, and they shoot pretty well. I don't remember off the top of my head what groupings I got for the rifles, but I feel like they were a little bit bigger. They were probably like 2.5, 2, but that's fine. I mean, for what they are, for what they're used for, they're good shooting rifles. They're good hunting rifles. Whatever you have to say, that might be blasphemy to say you hunt with an SKS or an AK-47, but they're great things to hunt with. That 7.62 by 39 hits hard, and it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so that's the fourth myth, that the AK-47s are inaccurate, and it's not true. Fifth myth, and this is a myth I pulled from the comment section, so I really appreciate it. And I thought it was a really good myth, because I don't think I really knew anything about it until I started to look into it. And there's been a lot of stuff going on in the gun world involving this stuff, so I've been trying to look up and stay up to date with it. But SBRs. So if you ever filled out SBR paperwork, it asks for your caliber and what caliber you have on your rifle. So you put like 5.56, 300 blackout, whatever it may be. But I always thought that you weren't allowed to switch out your uppers. And turns out you can. And I am not a lawyer. I have no legal experience whatsoever when it comes to doing this stuff. This is purely from online research and talking to my suppressor guy. But undoubtedly, you don't need to fill out whole separate paperwork as long as you have your lower and you're not permanently changing the caliber of the SBR. You can put different barrel or different uppers on it as long as it's not a permanent change. So say you have your 5.56 upper, that's what it's registered as, and you want to put a 300 blackout. Okay, as long as you're not permanently changing your 300 black or your SBR to a 300 blackout, you don't have to resubmit paperwork. You don't have to notify the ATF. As long as it's a temporary change, and you just go right back to your 5.56. Let me caveat this. This is the internet's doing. Okay, I haven't talked to an ATF agent about it. Okay, this is just from what I understand on the internet and doing my own private research. So, when you have your SBR, you can swap out the uppers, but you don't have to notify the ATF every time you put one upper on it or take an upper off of it. Okay? Another caveat, not a lawyer. Alright? So, those are my top 5 myths, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I encourage you guys to go comment in the comment section. Leave me some more myths. I really appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing about the stuff. I love hearing about the different myths. I love reading what you guys are talking about down there. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate it so much. You guys just don't understand. I'm incredibly grateful for y'all. Alright. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We're coming up on 5,000. At the time of me recording this video, I'm at 4,400 subscribers. At 5K, we'll get a giveaway. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, guys, take someone outdoors. I will see y'all next time.